What happens in a depression? The stock market could fall and not recover for 25 years. And that's not a guess. That really happened, yes, in the United States. The Dow Jones Industrial Average peaked in 1929. The market crash hit. Yes, these were the times of the Great Depression. And stocks lost nearly 90% of their value. The Dow didn't fully recover until late 1954. Yes, so 1929 to 1954, that is fully 25 years just to get back to even. Well, you might wonder, could that really happen to any major stock market in an advanced economy today? Even if things got really bad? Yes, things don't even have to get really bad. Japan's Nikkei, that peaked in 1989, and it still hasn't recovered from its high, yes, more than 30 years ago. And yeah, that is the main stock market index for Japan, the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And that's still going on right now today, and Japan is still the third largest economy in the world. Well, what's the difference between an economic recession and a depression, and what's an indicator for how to help you predict a recession, and then what can you do about it? Because you've got to act. So by the end of this video, you're going to have answers to all of that. Now, classically and formerly, a U.S. recession was defined as 2 consecutive quarters of contracting GDP, which basically means shrinking productive output. Well, it actually happened in the first 2 quarters of this year to a slight degree, but the definition of a recession has been changed, which upset quite a few people. Today, the NBER, the National Bureau of Economic Research, they make the call. Yes, a group of people sitting in a room decide. Some people think that the last official recession was 15 years ago during the global financial crisis, but actually that's not true. In fact, it was a short recession that began in February of 2020, really a flash recession related to the global health crisis when all of those businesses were forced to close. Well, let's look at the prospects for a deep recession or depression in America in the near future, and then what you can do about it. I think, as you know, to combat high inflation, which has come off its peak, but it's still high, the Fed did what everyone expected and raised interest rates again, this time by a half point, a smaller increase than the previous 4 increases, but it still pushed rates to their highest level in 15 years. That's where the Fed funds rate is. And the picture looks murkier for next year. The Fed projected it would hit an even higher target interest rate range than expected before they do back down. And by the way, this Fed funds rate, it's a lot like a base rate for other interest rates that those other interest rates are based off of, like your credit cards and personal loans, student loans, auto loans, and all types of business loans are based off this. So now at about 4.5%, they said they'll plan to raise the Fed funds rate past 5% and that it won't start lowering rates again until 2024. And think about this, due to high inflation, you're already paying more and more for the costs of goods and services, and now on top of those costs, you're also going to pay more in interest. Do you think this could introduce austerity, more homelessness, eating rice and beans? Let's get into that. But first, you don't have to contribute anything here, but if you'd like to help the channel grow, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell. That's the only way that you don't have to take any future action to be sure that you get my next wealth building video. A recession is a downward trend in the business cycle. It's one that's characterized by a decline in production and employment. A depression is a major downswing. Recessions, they can be limited geographically, whereas depressions, they can occur across a whole bunch of nations at the same time. Many nations. Depressions have global reach. Now, employment has still stayed fairly strong in America. In fact, in the last quarter, we had GDP growth even higher than expected. And there have been a lot of high-profile tech layoffs like at Meta and at Amazon, while smaller mom and pop businesses have continued to do some hiring. That is looking to change as these persistently higher interest rates need some time to trickle through the economy and have things slow down. So there is a lag effect there. The probability of an economic downturn, though, is pretty high, well over 50%. But no, I don't see any plausible scenario about how this leads to a depression. It would take a black swan event. Once inflation is in check, there's a good chance that the Fed will ease with the interest rates. But a recession, perhaps. So as you position your finances and your investments accordingly, let me give you a big clue here. And you know, most people don't even realize this. Do you think that recessions are typically times of increasing interest rates or decreasing interest rates? Which one? Do recessions correlate with rising rates or falling rates? It is falling. Recessions typically correlate with decreasing interest rates. Like I often say, use history over hunches. So let's look at history. Let's look at the chart. The gray bars symbolize recessions. Going back many decades here, recessions correlate with periods of declining interest rates, lower interest rates. That is the general overall trend. And why? Well, again, there is that lag effect between interest rate changes and its effect through supply chains and business cycles throughout the economy. And the other is that the Fed tends to lower rates when the economy needs the help, when you need the support. So they're still raising rates because employment has still hung in there. It's decent despite deteriorating. The Fed keeps raising rates to cool inflation, and while they believe that the economy can still withstand the higher rates. So tying together the clue, the Fed expects again to lower rates in 2024. Lower rates correlate with the recession when the economy needs the help. But of course, just because rates are lower doesn't mean that the economy is in a recession either. In the next cycle, a lowering of rates is expected to correlate closely with inflation once inflation has been thoroughly tamed down, once those flames have cooled down close to the 2% target rate that the Fed has for inflation. And you know, with all this outlook stuff, too often people get sort of ahead of themselves with what's coming next. All we've had, time and time again, are rate increases, and that's what almost everyone expects in the coming months as well. In high inflation, which we're still in, and a recession, if you think that's coming, then where are some of the best places to invest with those conditions? High inflation and a recession. Well, gold is a classic inflation hedge, but over the long term, that only about keeps up with inflation. At least you don't lose your prosperity, but really none is gained. What about Bitcoin? Who knows how that's going to do? History over hunches? Well, that postulation doesn't apply here very well because Bitcoin didn't even exist yet at the start of our last major recession in 2007. So Bitcoin's performance is deeply speculative. Something more than safe, better than safe, is strategically bought real estate, because in high inflation you get out of dollars and into real assets and debt where the tenant pays back the debt for you. Do it with modest but well-maintained entry-level housing, which has durable occupancy and therefore rent income. And is exactly when there's an economic downturn, when that happens, in case you lose your job, where you'll need another income stream for yourself, and you'll need to qualify for a mortgage loan soon enough that you still have a job and income so that you can qualify for that mortgage loan if that's the camp that you find yourself in. It's always good to have a little money saved in an economic downturn too, but in high inflation, saving is trickier. Every dollar saved is more money exposed to having your purchasing power debased. That's not a hunch, that's something that is guaranteed. So with $100K in the bank, lately you're losing at least then $7,000 of your annual prosperity to that inflation monster that's got a huge appetite. Hey, well, let me know in the comments, where do you think the best place to invest money is in the coming economic downturn? Is it in physical gold, or paper claims on gold, or Bitcoin, or entry-level rental housing like I've suggested, or somewhere else? Where's the best place to invest money in your opinion, and why? Really like to see a well-formed opinion if you have a better idea than the real estate. I'm Keith Weinhold. I'll see you in the next video.